Just came back from watching the A-Team, and let me talk about the review. First off, I think I saw pretty much every episode of the A-Team when it originally came out, except when they moved it to Friday nights, and I was playing in band on those nights, so I had to watch the A-Team on reruns in the summer or after football season, basically. So I'm a big fan of the A-Team, and there was a lot of really cool things and concepts that came out of the A-Team that's really meant a lot to me. So I'll talk about that a little bit later on. Let's talk about the film itself. Pretty much re-envisioning. That's kind of like the new word for all these movies. They're basically reinventing, basically just re-putting out there again. And it makes sense how they were put together, how it was introduced, the characters. I think you like the characters pretty much right off the bat. And a lot of it goes back to the original TV series, and I think partially because I know who the characters are. I know what Hannibal does, I know what Face does, I know what BA does, I know what Murdoch does. That you just kind of naturally already like these characters that you see on the screen. This film has a lot of action, blow 'em up stuff going on. Much more stuff that, obviously a lot of CGI stuff that you just couldn't have done in the 80s television show. And I'll kind of talk about that some more as well. Basically, as I talk about every film, a story, and believe it or not, just like with Star Trek, when last year all these folks, oh, did you see the new Star Trek? And then it better than the original. No, it's not better than the original. The new Star Trek did nothing for me to change my life. It was cool to watch. It was a cool bubblegum 2-hour movie, but it didn't have anything really to say. And maybe you can't say that in a 2-hour film. Maybe you need a TV series to have that arc going on there, to really understand the characters and really understand the story behind that. And maybe it's the same thing with this. The very first episode of the original A-Team, after the pilot, basically they are captured by this cult, and the reporter, the TV reporter, is with them, and she's like freaking out. She's about to die, and then and basically they all said that we were dead a long time ago. That's what gives us our edge, because we're already dead. We have nothing to fear. And I'll be honest, that was probably the most philosophical. The philosophy of that, it was probably the strongest in that one particular episode there. But that really drove the rest of it. That it just wasn't a bubblegum, blow 'em up show. This one here, they keep talking about the plan, ideas, and things like that, which is cool. Some things that I did like. I paid some homages back to the original series. You heard the theme and part of it. You get to see the van. The very first time you see Hannibal go out there, he has the Mini 14, which is the famous foam stocks and whatnot like that. And of course Hannibal's doing a cigar thing and whatnot like that. Murdoch in the original series was crazy. This Murdoch here is really crazy. In ways that the TV Murdoch could never have done, probably. And was it a horrible film? No. If you didn't know anything about the A-Team, could you like this as a bubblegum movie? Yeah. The the Karate Kid movie that's out right now had a bigger audience, and even though that probably should be called the Kung Fu Kid. And so I don't think this movie will go much or do much, nothing. It's a fade away pretty quickly. It's not a bad film. I would have preferred to have the characters just do realistic stuff. I don't really need to have somebody jump out of a tank and start shooting down airplanes and stuff. It was cool to see. It was something they definitely could have done in the original series. But man, there was some series. The other thing about the A-Team, they were out there helping people, helping just regular people, and they never got paid really, and it didn't matter because they cared about helping out people, and that was their thing. There was always one step ahead of the law, basically, in the first 4 series before they basically revamped it in the fifth series. And so, I mean, is it bad? No. Out of scale of 1 to 10, I don't know, 7.5. Give it a C, basically. The acting was good. The story was actually all right. It's just missing something that to hold together. That made it where this thing would be great, and I can't even put my finger on it because the story was kind of cool, the acting was good, maybe it was the over the top CGI. If I heard that the 2 of the characters from the A-Team, Mr. T wasn't going to be involved, but the character who played Face and Murdoch were going to make a cameo. If they were in there, I didn't see them. They might have been there really quickly. I was hoping to have them have a more prominent role, or at least somewhere where I would say, hey, there's Murdoch and there's Face. And no, that didn't happen, sadly. But could have been worse. Yeah, it definitely could have been a worse film. It's I don't know if this film will stand the test of time. I think this film is very 2010. And I think if you went back and watched the original A-Team, I think those stories still hold today, even. And that's the same thing with the original series back from the 60s. 67, 68, 69 as the original Star Trek series. Those stories still hold today. The Twilight Zone still holds true today, because there's certain things about humanity that are timeless, and this film isn't timeless. So, not a bad film. I hope they don't make a sequel. There's no reason to make a sequel. I still hope they don't make a sequel to Star Trek, because they can't top that. There's no way they could top that there by any means. And the Karate Kid, there's a special place in my heart for the Karate Kid. So I haven't seen the new one, and if I see the new one, I'll make a review on it. So anyways, A-Team, if you got nothing else to do, I guess it's alright to go watch. I would say go watch the original TV series instead, or go watch The Greatest American Hero. I'm glad they haven't made a Greatest American Hero movie, because they probably would not do a good job on that either. So please, please, please stop making all these movies from the 80s and come up with your own ideas. Come on, I got 1,100 videos on YouTube. Contact me. Make a movie for one of my things, okay? Taking out the trash. All right.